Not bad. Give me just a sec, guys. Set that aside. Okay. Let me pull up the stream so I can keep up with chat. Or at least so I can try. Oh, let's mute that. How's about that? Alright, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So for those that don't know what this thing is, because I'm sure it's not very common, this is what's called the Visteon Dockable Entertainment. It is a portable Game Boy Advance. It is a DVD player. It is janky as all hell. But there's literally just a Game Boy Advance in the lid. You put carts in, and you can play Game Boy Advance. Now, to play it, you do actually need the controller that comes with these things, unless you buy them used, but I guess you can't really buy them new anymore. But when they were new, it came with a controller. I don't have that, so I can't actually play Game Boy Advance games aside from just booting them up. But it is pretty neat. Does seem to work pretty well. Mine tends to only work at this angle, which is actually extremely inconvenient for actually using it, but somewhat convenient for filming. I'm pretty sure it's the plug that I'm using. I'm not sure if this one itself is just broken or anything, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it plays DVDs just fine. Seems to play Game Boy Advance just fine. It's very obviously a screen from 2006. I know it probably looks way better on the video than it does in person, because it really does not look great in person. But I mean, it works. It is what it is. Where is my cart that I just had and set aside? Oh no, I lost it. How could I lose? Never mind, I found it. And just for funsies, put a flash card in it. It does work pretty nicely. Ta-da! This is obviously the best way to watch this sort of content. Anyway, I'm not going to let that play for very much longer. So I'm going to turn this off. So what I'm using to power this, I am using a PSP charging plug that also has Game Boy Advance and DS charging adapters on it. Mute that, sorry. Ooh, that wasn't the mute button. Or was it? Yeah, it was. Okay. Because that was the only plug that I found that fit. And then I cut off the USB end and just rubber banded it to my power supply, because that was the best I could do. It takes 12 volts, 1 amp. This thing takes a lot of power. This is a, like I said, this is an old LCD. This is a CCFL instead of an LED backlight, and I can feel it. It gets stupid warm. But, I mean, as far as a portable DVD player goes, for 2006, it's pretty decent. Mine, like I said, mine does have some problems. It is not in the best condition. You can see all the scratches. This thing was clearly very well used, at the very least. I don't know if it was well loved, but it's pretty cool. These holes actually are for the dock that I also don't have, and there's the pin connectors for the dock. It's super cool. It's also super expensive and a huge piece of garbage. Mine does not have a working battery. I don't have the controller. I don't have the headphones. As is, this thing is basically unusable. But you know what else? I found that there is basically no documentation on it. So I'm hoping I can at least try and fix that today by taking it apart. So I've been debating this with a few people on the Game Boy Discord for about the past week, and we have a bet going for the most part. And I have not taken this thing apart yet. I have no idea what is going to be on the inside. The common consensus seems to be that there is an SP on the inside of this thing, on a custom motherboard, of course, because of where the cart slot is in relation to the link port. I'm thinking it's a Game Boy Micro, also on a custom motherboard. Now, my initial thought was the Micro was the last official Game Boy that was made, technically not counting this one. So that would be the parts that Nintendo would put towards the development of this thing. However, I did not actually know this until this week, and I think it's actually extraordinarily interesting. I hold here, I didn't even know this, and I had one. I hold here a Game Boy Advance SP motherboard. It's an AGS 101, hence the AGT designation on the motherboard. But if we look at the date code on the CPU, which, see if I can get it. There we go. You see that? 0605. This CPU was made in May of 2006. So they were definitely still making Game Boy Advance SP parts when they made this. This particular unit, of course, did come a little bit later, but yeah, this one's from August of 2007. But these were, they did come out in 2006, I believe. I'd have to double check. But yeah, no, this is, I think there were several different OEMs that made this thing, but if I plug it in, it's very obvious which OEM this particular one came from. Or at least car OEM. I mean, it's pretty obvious this thing was designed for a car, you know? But anyway, it does not play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. It only plays Game Boy Advance, which is why I was thinking Micro. However, back to that background information that I was talking about. The current theory on that is it only plays Game Boy Advance games because this thing had to dock and they put the cart slot right at the edge. So if you were to put a Game Boy Color cart in it, it physically wouldn't fit when you go to dock it. Now, oops, that's kind of a moot point because there's a lockout installed in the cart slot, and you just physically cannot install that. It won't work. Try and get this on camera, but it is notoriously difficult to film a cart slot. But if you can see in there, and I apologize if you can't, it's probably stupid difficult. Let me see if I can't get the light better. Oh, there we go. You can see those little blocks on the bottom right, and then if I bring my light over here, on the bottom left, that are preventing the Game Boy Color carts from fully inserting. If we look at Game Boy Advance cart, we see these little notches cut in the corners. Game Boy Color doesn't have that. That's how they did that. Now, funny you say that. Maybe they shoved in a modified DS board. That was the plan eventually. So, not originally. Originally they wanted to do Game Boy Advance, then they wanted to do Nintendo DS. But they did not do Nintendo DS. I'm thinking that If this was a Nintendo DS cut down and shoved in here, this would be capable of Nintendo DS games too, because it's like a half extra step to make it compatible, and it's not. So literally all they would need is the cart slot. All the other hardware is already there. But anyway, I think that is enough yammering. I think it's time to tear this thing down. Hopefully I can fix the issue that causes this battery to not actually lock in and potentially even charge, because as is, it does not charge. But it could also be because it's from 2007. I am going to start with the top, and I'll pull the bottom apart later. Oh, but do I have the right screwdriver? I don't know. We'll find out. I didn't look at a teardown for this thing because they don't exist. Oh yeah, DS had touch input. I can see that being a problem. I don't know. So, Retro GM, don't break the screen this time. Haha, very funny. But if you read the description, I made sure to make a note of the fact that the screen is literally the only thing that is documented about this, because it is a very common part. I actually plan on replacing the screen in this, because there is a scratch right here, and I don't like the scratch, but also because this uses a CCFL backlight, which makes it absolutely ridiculous as far as power consumption goes. Modern LCD panels use an LED backlight, and it's significantly better. All my years of taking apart SPs have trained me for this. Oh, no, looks like these things are getting fucked up. That's unfortunate. They're already pretty fucked up, though. This, like I said, this thing is not very well taken care of. It is very obviously from 2006, or 2007, I guess. My understanding is also this is not a, this is not like an aftermarket thing. This was sold through car dealers. So if you wanted one of these, you were buying a new car too. Nowadays, it's quite a bit cheaper to get one. You can just pop on eBay, spend $400 minimum. All right, that's it. 4 of those little things, or excuse me, 5. I swear I know how to count. Oh wait, I'm getting the wrong tool. Hang on. You gotta get up for this one. See, I said I was going to be taking it apart with a hammer. Kidding. But am I? So luckily, like just about everything from the mid-2000s, early 2000s, this thing doesn't use glue to take it apart or to hold it together. It uses screws. The little feet are held in with glue. Is that even a Phillips? The fuck? I don't think that was a Phillips. Okay, I don't know what that is. There's all the, no, but, like, all the screws are covered in the adhesive from the little feet, so I can't even see what screw that is, but my Phillips is not doing it. Or maybe there's just too much junk jammed in it. Wow, that would be really shitty if I had to drill this out. I think I'm gonna have to drill this out. Fuck. So I am using violence. Alright. I will be right back. I'm not gonna pause the stream. I just have to go somewhere else and use violence. Ugh. Don't go anywhere. I'm still here, I swear. Oh, that is way too big. Fuck my dude. Sorry guys, I haven't had to do this in years. I got cocky. It's also ridiculously big screw. Hold on. I'm getting there. Promise. Talk amongst yourselves. Alright, got it. Alright. I'll replace that screw later. Ah. So, it seems like... Oh dear. How does this come apart? So you gotta release the lever. And then there's clips holding this on. And, you ready? You ready? There's the Game Boy. That's the part I'm interested in. notice there were only 4 screws and 6 screw holes. So I think I already know my answer, just looking at this. And I think I lost the bet. But what I want to know now is this a Nintendo OEM PCB or a third-party PCB with Nintendo Silicon on it? I think I know the answer to that, too. I think it's third-party. Da-da-da-da-da-da! Oh, it's a Game Boy Micro. And that is for sure a Game Boy... Wait, is that a Game Boy Micro card slot? Wait a second. What are they doing with this? So there is an optical sensor across the cart slot to determine whether a cart is inserted? What? So the DS cart slot, or the DS Lite cart slot, actually has the these little anchors on the sides instead of on the front. But I believe the DS and the Game Boy Micro are identical as far as the cart slot goes. So, could be either. This looks to be a Game Boy Advance SP port as well. Not that it makes a huge difference. They're largely the same. But the Game Boy Advance one is a little bit shorter. You can see a little bit more flush with the board compared to that one. Oh. But yeah, this thing is nuts. Okay. So we have the Game Boy Micro CPU. It looks like we have the power management IC right here. This handles audio and all the power for the CPU. The video lines are fed straight into this FPGA here. Ooh. Marshall, you getting this? Huh? No, this is definitely a Game Boy Micro. Look, CPU AGB-E. DS CPUs look way different. They say NTR on them. I have one somewhere. Because of who I am as a person. Okay, well, it was in here. I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. So that's a DS CPU compared to a Game Boy Micro CPU. Completely different. Oh yeah, this thing will go back together. I'll just have to find a new screw for this. I'll have to try and extract that or put a new insert in. But it won't be too bad. Or just leave it because this thing has clips holding it together anyway and it's not going back in a car. But yeah, how bizarre is that? This is definitely a third-party PCB. Nintendo PCBs just don't look like this. Oh, man. So, you know, if Visteon ever gets hacked somewhere on a file server, I'm sure they have a full schematic for a Game Boy Micro and for this absolutely bizarre creation. Compared in size to a Game Boy Advance SP, it's surprisingly bigger. With a lot of empty space. So there you go. Saw something new. So yeah, I'm Egg Crumble. I'm just tearing this down tonight. I'm not even going to put it back together on stream because I want to get some pictures of this and post it. Because this is... It's so cool. I mean, I don't know that anyone has torn one of these down and either taken pictures or video of it. I'm first. I'm first at something. See that, Ma? Alright. So yeah, there's really not a whole lot to this thing. We have the cart slot going into the Game Boy Advance CPU, or Game Boy Micro CPU. We have the power management IC feeding all the power and voltages, handling the audio and such as this, or actually the audio might be digital out going straight to the FPGA here. This thing might not actually be handling any of the audio. But this is, if I find my AGS board, it should be the same chip that uses for power management. So this has a lot of unused functions like audio amplification, battery charging, and probably something else. It's literally only being used to output 1.8 volts and probably 3.3 volts to the CPU. I was really hoping this would be a Nintendo PCB because I know Nintendo does their best to have test pads for literally everything, which would make adding my own button controls to this significantly easier. As is, I have no idea how I'm going to do it other than just trying to intercept pins on the FPGA. And, oh god, I don't know. I'm going to have to do more research. What is this chip? IC3. This is feeding into the FPGA. This is probably handling video, I'm guessing. I'm sorry, I'm just so fascinated. I'm going to set this aside, though. I will play with it more later. There's just this cable. I don't know how many wires that is. Let's count it. Oh my god, am I offline? My stream is paused. Am I still here? I'm going to reset it. Okay, I'm still here. I'm sorry. It was paused on my, I don't know why my end paused. Anyway. So yeah, here is on the top end, here is the backlight driver for the CCFL. Don't touch that, it'll give you a nasty shock. Mine's probably fine, it's probably discharged at this point, but still, don't fuck with it, especially if it's powered on. Here is the throwing shit everywhere, sorry. Here is the model number for the LCD. It is model number A102VW01V.4 AU Optronics. But like I said, this was actually already known, so it's cool to have that confirmed even if we don't need it. I am concerned that someone has already been in this. Maybe I didn't strip that screw. I don't know what else we need, but while I'm in here, let's, oops. I'm on stream shitposting in Discord by accident. Alright. The LCD itself is 23.5 centimeters by 14.5 centimeters. Like my ruler? I like it. Alright. And I guess let's get started on the bottom. I'm going to take my DVD out. And hopefully this part goes more smoothly. There's no adhesive jammed into the screws, so it should be quite a bit easier. That is one of the problems with using JIS, unfortunately. Because the JIS driver is designed to not cam out, if for some reason it strips, it's going to destroy your, or if for some reason it slips, it's going to destroy your screw. Which is exactly what happened to me. Because I wasn't being careful. I was getting excited. So far, these are all the same screw. Which, there are different screws from the lid, though. You know what? I should have gone through all the menu options and shit. I guess it's too late for that. I mean, on stream at least. I've already been fucking with it. Apparently this thing has parental controls enabled. So, I don't know what they do. They don't seem to stop me from doing anything on it. Hopefully it's not like a timer or some bullshit. Because I don't know the password. I don't know how this comes apart. Do we have to do anything in here? We might have to do something in here. Nope, never mind. Those are just the same pads they have on the LCD. There's nothing under that one, at least. Okay. We don't have to do anything in there. But I don't know why it's not coming apart, and I don't want to force it. I'm terrified of breaking this thing. I feel comfortable drilling out a screw because I have a vague idea of what I'm doing. But this, I don't know. Did I miss a screw? Is that what's going on here? I did. Void warranty if removed. Well, I didn't remove it, so how's about that? I think there's one right in the middle of there too. Oh, it's ripping. Oh no. Much further, just a little bit. Yeah, there's one right in the middle of that. Damn it. I bet it's just painful watching me rip up this already destroyed, I should mention, sticker. Though I definitely didn't help. See, that's why I filmed it. Anything that I break, you can already refer back to. Ooh, that is very complicated in there. Let's check under these pads, because the back's not coming up. that, more hidden screws. Jesus. You'd think they blew their budget on screws. Yeah, see, I could have been more careful with that label. That is definitely true. But it was already peeling. I'm not too concerned. This thing is really not in good condition anyway. I should check under the legs, but there weren't any in the front, so I'm doubting there are any in the back. Oh, but there are. One's right there on the hinges. That is the same screw as the screen. No, it comes apart. Oh, it may have already come apart. I don't know that these need to come out. This is probably just making things harder on myself. Oh, it comes apart. You just have to lift straight up. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cables connecting the top to the bottom. Ooh, that was not good. That needs to go back. Go back to your home. I may have been off on the cables because the DVD lens was falling. This is going to be a pain in the... See you next Tuesday to reassemble. The hell did this just come off of? Come on, focus. There you go. VXG 1700 main. Something, something. I just fell off something and stuck to my fingy. We should do that the proper way instead of breaking shit. I'm not at the right angle to do that the proper way. I'll just hope for the best. What ribbon cable are you telling me I need to disconnect? There's nothing connecting these. So we have the biggest fucking diode I've ever seen in my life, and I love it. Not a whole lot going on this board. Traces running everywhere, but nothing it seems that is important. I bet all the interesting things happen on the other side. Are you an out? Yeah. Okay. Set this aside for now so I don't break it. As far as what's going on the top, we have a control board for the buttons. That's it. Nothing else. Speakers, I guess. This connector, I'm guessing, is for the backlight. I don't know, but it goes into LCD board. Or rather just goes under it. And then runs into the inverter board. Yeah, nothing interesting. This is where the rest of the Bryans are. Two screws, is that it? Oh, there's two more right here. I'll take the screws off this board too. So just pulled 4 screws out of the board. One here, one here, one here, one up here, and then 2 screws out of this daughter board here. This is just the battery connector. And I'm guessing this will lift right out. No, that would be simple. And there is the ribbon cable for the docking pin connector, but I'm not going to bother pulling that out because I don't think there's much else I can do from here. So we're just going to take a look at this board and admire that big ass chip. That's basically it. We have all the brains of the device on this side right here. This is controlling all the DVD playback, the LCD driver, driving, etc. That's pretty much it. On the flip side of the board, we have power management. So we have battery in here. I'm guessing this is the charge controller circuit right here. And then right here and right here we have 2 different voltage regulator circuits. Based off of these test points, it looks like we have 5 volts and 5 volts. I guess these are both putting out 2 different 5-volt rails. Oh, never mind. There's that one. 3V3, and then the other one's 5 volt. That's weird, but alright. I don't know if there's much else to it. Neat stuff. God, look at that fat capacitor too. It's beautiful. Anyone know what package that is? There's my thumb for scale. I'm just curious if that's a part you can actually still buy, because that is a ridiculous size. Sorry, just catching up on chat. Give me a sec here. Yeah, so I don't know. This thing came out, I think it was, I think it came out way too late. Like, it probably would have sold a lot better if it came out in, like, I don't know, 2001 when the Game Boy Advance came out. But it came out in 2006 when the DS was already out. Who wanted to play Game Boy Advance games at that point? No one. That's why the Game Boy Micro sold like garbage. For like $50 more, you could get a console that literally did the exact same thing and more. Since the Game Boy Micro didn't play Game Boy Color either. Well, if nothing else though, this battery connector did reveal something that I find very helpful. These 4 pins, literally just plus and minus. There is no like smart circuitry or anything on this thing. So if I set this down gently, DP1, don't know what that is. DP. Anyway. Let's see if there's any juice in this thing. There is not. That's why it's not charging. I'm sorry, you can't see that at all. There's just not a good angle for this thing, is there? .02 volts. It isn't DC. Battery's basically dead. This multimeter, I don't trust it down to that low voltage because I'm just holding it off. It's measuring 0.03 AC. But yeah, this battery's probably toast. I don't recommend ever fucking with lithium batteries that have gone down to 0 volts. But because this thing is a collector's item, despite what I just did to it, I am going to try and just feed it some voltage and see if it comes back. But because it's dangerous, I'm not going to do it on stream. But yeah, that's all I got. I am going to take some pictures, put it back together. That's the interesting part. This thing is a $250 Game Boy. And then a $150 DVD player. So what mods are you thinking we could do for this thing? Huh? How much did I pay for it? I paid way too much. No. Now, keep this in mind. Mine did not come with the controller, which is required to actually play Game Boy Advance. Mine did not come with the headphones that also came with this. Mine did not come with a charger or a working battery. I paid $350 for it. I think I overpaid, but based off of the selling history, that might not be true. And since these things are just straight up hard to find, if you want one and there's one available, just buy it. Like, it's not, there are no good or bad prices for something this uncommon. Another thing you can do, I've noticed some people doing research on what car this came in. Check your local junkyard and see if they have that model car, and then go and see if it has one of these stuck to the roof. But yeah, this Game Boy is a Game Boy Micro. Looks weird for a Game Boy Micro, right? For size comparison, this Game Boy Micro PCB is bigger than a Game Boy Advance SP. Yeah, no, this is definitely a micro. CPU AGBE. That's a micro. This thing already has video out. I plug this back in, turn it on, and then I can use the, well, it's on the bottom half. But there's video out right on the side there. Video out. I mean, I don't have the cable for it, because of course I don't have the cable for it. I don't have anything for this damn thing. But I'm pretty sure I can make something. Shouldn't be that bad. While I'm in here, I think I will mod it up. So what are you guys thinking as far as mods go? I'm thinking we do USB-C power input. We do GBX wireless control for the button input on the Game Boy Advance side. I have no idea how I'm going to do that. I'll figure something out. What else? What else we got? I could build a new battery pack for it. It'll be ugly, but it'll work. Oh yeah, obviously we're putting a new screen in it. I'll do another. I'll do an actual video for that, not a stream, because we will have to bypass and replace this this thing, whatever the hell it's called, the CCFL inverter. I'm sorry, it's late. I'm tired. But yeah, anyone have any questions on this thing? Yeah, no, the battery pack is straight up just four 18650s, 2P2S, because it's 7.4 volt nominal. But it's also at 0 volts, so. I'll have to build a new one. Oh, you know what? While I'm in here, why don't we fix this? See that? That is bent in. That is not supposed to be bent in. That's why my battery doesn't actually sit right. Sit right. Where are my wires? Yeah, we'll see if Funny Playing will make a IPS kit for it, right? They made IPS kits for every other Game Boy. Hey, look at that. No, that's not true. They didn't make one for the Game Boy Micro. Hey, that works. Yeah, no doubt someone just slammed it. Like I said, this thing is very loved and it shows. This is the biggest Game Boy Micro ever made. Alright, let me scroll through chat. I'm sorry, guys. I'm neglecting that again. Really good at neglecting chat, if you haven't noticed. Yeah, for the controller, I did mean to test it before I took it apart, but I forgot. I'm thinking probably use like universal remote control. Gonna have to know the specific codes, and that might take a while to figure out, and I'm not looking forward to that, but it could work. And then you could build a remote control to use with the IR. There are 2 IR sensors for this thing, one on the front and one on the top when it's open and assembled. That's these 2 things right here. It's not the best, you need line of sight, but it does work and the latency is pretty low. So there's that, I guess. But back in 2006, that's what you got. Yeah, no Game Boy Color compatibility is going to be possible with this thing. I'm still pretty sure that this CPU is capable of running Game Boy Color hardware. However, there's no documentation on this, and I have no idea how to do it. Not to mention, I don't really fuck with BGA chips. I can't resolder that nonsense. That is not a skill that I currently possess. So that's what this CPU looks like on the underneath. I know somebody who is doing some reverse engineering on the Game Boy Micro schematic. There's like 160 pins on this thing, and 40 of them don't connect to anything on the PCB itself. So we're wondering if those pins or pads are, just because Nintendo decided to go with this package for whatever god-awful reason, or because they were a planned feature that just weren't implemented on the PCB of the Game Boy Micro. Or it could just be that since the memory is on the die for this thing, for the Game Boy Advance SP, you have the CPU and then the memory on a separate package. On this thing, you have the memory on the exact same die. So it could be that those pins are just the pinout for the memory as well, if that needs to be accessed separately for whatever reason, which did not need to be accessed separately on the Game Boy. Voltage levels could be a concern, but like I said, with the 40 undocumented pins, it's hard to say. We do have full schematics for the Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Advance SP CPUs, at least the pinout thereof. So if we got a full schematic of the pinout of this CPU, and I don't mean reverse engineered because we need to know what those undocumented ones are, or unconnected ones are. Are they actually just unconnected, or do they do something else? At this point in the stage, the only thing that I know how to do at the very least is, just basically make a breakout board for the damn thing, pin everything out, and then start poking pads and see if it does anything. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Game Boy and Game Boy Color is going to be a possibility unless someone, wink wink nudge nudge, makes a replacement of this board using this board. Maybe? I don't know. We got to figure out exactly what this thing is doing, if it's doing anything more than handling the video output and buttons, which it probably isn't, but still got to figure that out. We could overclock it. That would be interesting. But HDMI mod it. You joke, but I think someone's actually working on that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so fascinated that they decided to use an optical sensor for what I'm guessing is a cart detection. That is just that seems like the wrong way to do it, but they did it anyway. Oh, you know what? We should have seen if this thing does multi-boot. It probably does, but it would have been nice to find out before I took it apart. Oh well, I think that's all I got. Yeah, like I said, I am going to leave this apart. I'll assemble it again off stream, but I need to get some pictures of it while it's disassembled. So, on that note, I will bid you guys farewell. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. This is super cool. Hopefully I didn't just totally ruin it, because this was not a cheap purchase, and these things are pretty rare. I would feel terrible if I completely destroyed it, but so far it is working better than it was before because I have the battery thing unstuck. But anyway, yeah, sorry Adam, you missed it, but there'll be a VOD, you can just, rewind it right now and watch back. But the VOD will be uploaded soon. I know YouTube has to do some post-processing and shit before you can just click play. But as long as you don't close the stream, you can still rewind it and watch it until... Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a fantastic night. Keep being awesome. I'm probably not doing another stream tomorrow. I know I got in the habit of doing streams just about every Saturday. And then I skipped last week. And I'm probably skipping this week too. This was an exception because I just got this today and I was very excited to play with it. Anyway.